listening to The Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is Ian.
And I'm Daryl.
And this is Interview Wednesday.
Interview Wednesday. So what are we doing today?
We are interviewing.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, what are you doing?
It was yesterday.
No. Today's Interview Wednesday.
Oh, Interview Wednesday. All right, so today we have Robi Vio on the phone.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and get his match up so y'all can see his style. We actually was showing a match a couple of weeks ago when we interviewed Shawn Rage, who wrestles at the same promotion.
Yeah.
So, we're not in the audience in this one.
Not in this one.
All right, well...
Robi Vio, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's cool to be on the show. Appreciate it.
Well, how long have you been wrestling?
It's coming up on 11 years here in about a month.
Okay.
And, yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but when you say it, it kind of makes you feel old. But it's one of the things about wrestling. You know, the time kind of goes by really quick, and before you know it, you're kind of getting kind of old, and you've been wrestling forever.
Yeah. So, who were you trained by?
I was kind of trained by a couple of people, actually. It started off, I got trained by David Michaels and his son Eric Michaels. And they're in a show in, it's like the Oxford, Anniston area of Alabama. But about 6-7-ish months into that, I kind of started going to a lot of the seminars. You'll see posters for, like on Facebook, you'll see posters for them, you know, up at shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Where like a big pro will come in, and for a fee, you can go in and you can train with them for a set amount of time and stuff. Started going through a lot of those. I recommend going through a lot of those. You learn a lot of different things from a lot of smart guys.
Yeah, those are always great to be a part of, you know. So
definitely, I think a lot of guys will wait until like 5 or 6 years in, until they're already kind of set in their ways and already comfortable before they start going to those. I had known how to do things before I started going to those, so I was still kind of a blank slate on the mentality thing, and was able to pick up a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at this point, we want to go into the 10 questions that we ask all our guests. I'll start it off with, what is your favorite gimmick match?
This is kind of split into two answers. My favorite to watch is pretty much any kind of the war game thing. I'm sure that's a really popular answer. The war games were probably the coolest thing that, I don't know, that's just one of the coolest matches that you could possibly watch. And I've seen a lot of like local promotions that pulled off some war games events that were pretty notable, not bad at all. But the war games has got to be just one of the coolest things to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
My favorite to be in, though, I've been in a pretty widespread of things, you know, as far as giving matches go. But I was in a cage a couple times, not too many times, but just a few times. And there's just something about a cage match. You know, it's kind of that, it gives you that old school. You know, it's the same kind of thing that Bruno and Jimmy Snuka and all those guys did. You know, they weren't doing like big ladder matches or anything like that. They were doing, you know, the big cage matches, and it just kind of has the old school kind of gritty feel to it. I like the cage match a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I never had the chance to actually wrestle in one, but, you know, anytime I watch them or see an indie promotion use the cage.
There's something special about seeing that cage put up in there.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So, Yeah, and then about you actually watching war games and things like that. I thought back in the day when I was watching, it was more like anytime they put two rings together,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
That was just awesome. I remember.
It was just a cool look.
Oh, yeah.
Just seeing the two rings pushed together. There's a lot of really simple things that used to be done in wrestling. I think that don't get done enough now on the larger scale. That just the spectacle of looking at them.
Yeah.
That's enough to get the crowd up right there.
Yeah.
But,
I remember
then
when
you
they
see
did.
the match play out. It's so great.
They I remember when they had 3 rings.
Yeah, the World War III.
Yeah, that was pretty
The
awesome.
60.
The first time I was kind of taken aback, but I thought it was kind of that was quite the spectacle in itself there. But I think that one kind of lost its luster after time. It was that one might have been too much. But seeing the 3 rings side by side, and there were a few matches where you'd see guys go from ring to ring with spots and stuff. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
Well, if you could wrestle anyone, living or dead, who would you want that to be?
That's one of those where it's really hard to pick a guy, but I would probably want to go against Brian Pillman. I'm kind of a huge Brian Pillman fan. It's not necessarily that I'm not I wouldn't make the case he was like one of the greatest wrestlers. I mean, I think that he was definitely up there, but just. Do you guys remember back when he had his accident and his ankle was messed up?
Yeah.
Okay. If you remember, he did a thing with Goldust after that. But if you watch, it was a guy who he was so good and he could barely move.
Yeah.
That to me showed that showed a lot. That's the kind of thing that I'm kind of that kind of thing gets to me. That's really really impressive to me.
Oh, absolutely. I remember that whole angle and stuff. So I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, I think you're the first person to say Brian Pillman.
From just being Flying Brian.
Yeah.
Now, who is your favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler. It's another one of those it's kind of hard to pick, but I can get it down to between 2 guys. Probably either Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or the Great Muta. Well, one of those 2 guys is probably my favorite, and I just can't pick. When I was a kid, I was so hardcore Ricky the Dragon Steamboat fan, and I mean, I was also a really hardcore Great Muta fan. The only time I'd see him when I was a kid was when he came over for that brief stint in WCW for about a year or so.
Yeah.
But up until I saw him again later in life, I was that guy was great.
I like both of
one of
those.
those guys
I can't.
stuck with you.
Yeah, I can't argue with either one of those.
Yeah, it's
are
definitely
2 great
tough
choices.
to choose between those 2. So.
I don't think I could ever pick between those 2, but I know that it's one of those 2 guys.
Well, do you have a favorite wrestling moment, either personally or watching professionally?
I do. I have 2. Well, I have one for each. It's hard to split up which one is kind of my favorite moment as me, and which one was my favorite. Watching as a fan, because I don't know, it's 2 different experiences.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of hard to choose between the 2. I know that one of my favorite moments as a fan is Halloween Havoc. I'm wanting to say it was like 90. It was 91. I think it was the year that Muta was there. Halloween Havoc. They did maybe it might not have even been Halloween Havoc yet, but it was a big Halloween show with a like Thunder Cage or Thunder something. I can't remember. They had such wacky names for stuff in WCW back
They
then.
did. So.
But it was Ric Flair and Sting, and they're going against the Great Muta and Terry Funk. I'm pretty sure it's Terry Funk. I can't remember who his partner was really, so I won't pretend. But I think it might have been Terry Funk. And they're in this big cage. It's the one that's built really tall and has the concave kind of thing coming in.
Yeah.
And you're not able to climb over it. When they do it, the pyro goes off, and there was something up there, and it catches on fire. And like everybody's like jumping up there, running in panic, and trying to put the fire out and stuff. And like the Great Muta just kind of like standing there while everybody's like looking at it, kind of weird. hops up there and spits the mist at the fire and puts the fire out.
Oh, wow.
And he just hopped back down on the turnbuckle and was all, he was totally Spider-Man with it.
That's
It was
funny.
so great. And that's one of those things that it wasn't, that wasn't like a wrestling moment. Like, that was totally not supposed to, there was a fire. And
Yeah.
the Great Muto was superhero with it, and he puts the fire out with the mist.
Yeah.
That was way intense to watch, as a kid. Be like, wow, that he just put the fire out with his crazy green stuff that comes out of his mouth that I still don't understand because I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
What
Yeah,
about?
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, it's one of those things that you might not even remember how the match ended, but you're never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
You can't recreate that kind of thing. You can't do it again, but you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Probably my favorite moment, like being involved in wrestling, was I got to I was doing a match, or I wasn't doing the match. I was just out there kind of doing the second role for somebody in a match. I wasn't necessarily managing. It's just I was kind of their backup in the match, so it's kind of like the second role. And he's having his match. He asked me to go get it was anything goes rules. He says to go get a ladder. There's a ladder at the back of the building. I go to get the ladder, and it's latched to the thing, but I didn't know. So I grab the ladder and I pull it and I keep going. What it was latched to was the refrigerator. And when I pull the thing across the refrigerator, I don't know why they had ran this thing through the refrigerator handle or whatever. I think I was supposed to untie it before I grabbed it. Nobody told me that. When you're doing this kind of thing, you just you go to it and run back. So I grab the ladder and I take off. Pulling. I kind of feel some resistance, so I give it a good yank. And I just hear something go, pop, and and I just keep going, and I run to the thing, I hand him the ladder over the thing, the rope goes, and as he's pulling it over, and he starts, undo the rope, or undo the ladder, and, start to set up his ladder, I notice that the refrigerator door is, kind of in this little aisleway with the fans and stuff. And there's condiments and such spread all over the floor and everything. So to try and make this seem like I'm not an idiot who just ruined everything, I start trying to overplay it, and oh no, and I'd start yelling at him and stuff. So I grab the door like I'm gonna hand him the door to use the door. When I pick up the door to hand it to him, even though I'm looking at all this stuff spread on the floor, I pick it up to hand it to him over the ropes, and I pick it up kind of over myself. So I shower myself with random condiments, pickles, stuff that I busted all in the door. For a second, I was like, oh God, how could this get worse? But then I thought, hey, I think I just made it work. So it was okay, and
Yeah.
it turned into one of my favorite. It was very close to being a catastrophe. Luckily, the refrigerator door thing was easily repaired. $40, everybody's happy, gets the door fixed. But minimal damage to stuff, and maximum happiness for the crowd.
There you go.
That's right.
All right, now, what is your most embarrassing moment?
This is very, very close. See, that almost was most embarrassing moment, but it was not most embarrassing moment. Probably the most embarrassing moment, there was, trying to think of the best way to put it. I'm up on the top rope. I get straddled across the turnbuckle. Have you guys ever seen how, the wire ropes are?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they get kind of frayed. Have a pinch sticking or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or not like a pinch, or it can pinch you. I don't know why I said it's called a pinch, but it can kind of pinch you, the way it sticks. So I get straddled up on the top rope for the, I'm about to get a superplex, and as I get put up there, bam, it stuck me right in the ass. We're talking probably went 2 inches deep. It hurt. And I now it feels like I just got a shot at the doctor. So I jump up and I kind of headbutt old dude on accident because, you don't see it coming. And I start kind of grabbing at my bottom. When I do that, I stand up. Or not stand up, but kind of stand up. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And as I do this, you hear the kind of shred deal, and I now have a very, very, very large chunk of a butt cheek exposed.
Oh.
And he climbs back up, and of course I, take the superplex, and it rips more on the superplex, and it's starting to become a thing.
Yeah.
So we hurriedly finish the match.
Right.
And so as to not kill anything, I'm not, particularly like trying to cover, anything because I'm half dead. But it's been said later that it was a bit more of a wardrobe malfunction than I may have known.
Yeah.
So it's probably not my proudest moment. Never seen videotape of it. One would hope that it isn't out there, but
You never know.
I don't know. I'm going to have to try and look that up now.
kind of a blushing experience.
Yeah.
It's oops.
Yeah, that was kind of not quite that far, but my most embarrassing moment in the ring was that I used to wear this type of pant that I needed a belt to wear with them, and I forgot to wear the belt in a match or two, and these pants would just keep falling down, and yeah, it was.
So he made all the ladies
you were
happy.
wrestling 2 matches at once then. One with your opponent and one with your pants.
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, do you have a favorite finisher or favorite move that you like to perform or see?
Yeah, it's in the 2 categories. Kind of, I'm a little bit indecisive. I like to see things differently than like stuff I like to do. My favorite move to see people do, and like when it's done right, is to see somebody do. Have you ever seen that old head scissors? I've heard that some people are bringing it back. I think somebody told me that Ron Killings does it now. It's where you run, and it's not like a hurricanrana or a head scissors. You just run, and it's like you jump up and you kind of take a knee up on top of their shoulders almost, and then you just roll them back over. Ricky Steamboat used to do it all the time. I don't know why, but I think it's just a really, really nice, very pretty move to see.
Yeah.
And you never see it anymore. So when if I watch it and see it on an old tape, I'm just right in the feels. But
I'll have to. I'm for some reason I'm not visualizing it
Yeah,
right now,
I
but
can't.
I'm gonna have to check it out now.
Yeah.
I know.
yeah. Oh man, I wish I could remember. There's got to be a name for it. It's I don't know, but Steamboat used to do it all the time. Somebody told me that Ron Killings is doing it now. It's just it's kind of a new take, or an older take actually, on the Hurricanrana or Hurricanrana, however you pronounce it, and you just jump up, kind of belly down on top of their shoulders. You wrap your legs around their head, and you just roll them back over, and they flip forward.
I know what you're talking about now. It just I can't think of the name, but it just I'm seeing it in my head right now.
Yeah.
Okay. See, is it kind of rare? Like I haven't.
Oh yeah.
Does Ron Killings do it now?
I don't know. I
don't know if I've seen him do it, but I remember I'm thinking back to all my Ricky the Dragon Steamboat matches I've seen over the years. And
he used to do it. He'd do 2 or 3 in a row sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
All right, now let me ask you: who's your favorite champion of all time? It doesn't have to be heavyweight. It could be any champion, and it could be independent, professional, but it cannot be you.
Oh, I'm definitely not my favorite champion of all time, but probably my favorite champion of all time. Probably just because I think he's probably still going to this day. Is Terry Funk.
Okay.
And do you guys remember the Forever speech?
Yeah.
When he won the belt and just screamed forever into the microphone, that's good stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, if you could consider somebody overrated or underrated, who would you say that would be?
Well, this will probably be kind of unfair to people. like more
Or
on the
whatever
grander
you
scale.
want, man.
Yeah, independent or in the pros. I mean, however you feel you want to address it.
All right. I think a really underrated guy around our area is you guys familiar with Drew Game?
Yes.
Okay, that guy.
We're actually going to be interviewing him later.
Oh, that's awesome. You should tell him I said, hey, I love that guy. But extremely underrated dude there. Not just as a wrestler, but as a person too. Just a genuinely good dude, genuinely good wrestler.
Oh yeah.
You can't really meet a better guy than that in the business.
Yeah, we've definitely met him and talked with him and watched him wrestle quite a few times
Oh,
now.
yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm surprised we haven't had the chance to run across you yet at a live show, but I'm sure we will soon. So.
I slowed my schedule down a little bit, but it's likely I'm going to start picking it back up a lot more. So you'll probably run into me.
Cool.
Probably overrated wrestler around here. I would definitely say me. For some reason, people think that I'm a lot better than I am, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
They're totally welcome to do that, but I'm definitely, if I could pick somebody who's probably overrated in the area, it's probably me. And I'm not even doing that to be modest. That's just how I see it.
All right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Now, who's your favorite tag team or stable?
Tag team or stable? Probably my favorite tag team is because nostalgia, the Midnights. I love the Midnight Express.
Oh, absolutely.
My favorite incarnation of the Midnights, probably not, the best incarnation as far as a lot of hardcores go, but I like Stan and Bobby the best.
Oh, that's who I like the best out of them.
Oh man, Stan and Bobby were great. I
Absolutely.
didn't hate Dennis, but it's just Stan and Bobby, they played off each other a lot better, I think, and Cornette is perfect manager. The stable thing, I kind of see that as a little bit different. I think the best stable that's probably been put around in wrestling in a long time was, do you remember, see, this is another thing, is it didn't really have too long of a run, and it was round and about disastrous on most accounts. But do you guys remember that Millionaires Club angle with everything at the end of WCW?
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys remember the Filthy Animals?
I do, but I can't remember. I remember
Okay.
the name. I just can't remember who they was.
Just remember that you said my favorite stable. All right, they were just my favorite to watch because it was like Rey Mysterio, Kidman, Disco Inferno.
I remember.
Oh, yes, I
And they
remember
were
now.
so funny, man. I remember laughing at them so much when I was a kid, especially
Yeah.
Disco Inferno, just the way he played into that group. So
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite stable that I ever watched. And they never really did anything too much of
Right.
note or anything like that. But I had fun watching them. So
Oh yeah,
I
I think they
mentioned the
just
Filthy
wanted to all
Animals.
work together and ended up, they wrote it in there. So
There you go.
yeah. Well, do you have a favorite catchphrase either that you say or that you've heard?
I've heard a lot of really good ones. I don't think I've ever, I've said a couple things that after I said it, I was like, wow, that could have been a lot worse. But for the most part, my favorite catchphrases that they've come from the bigger name guys. I like. Do you guys remember what was Just Incredible? Do you remember
Yes.
his catchphrase?
I don't remember his catchphrase. I remember him though.
Okay, he would say, "That's not just the coolest. That's not just the best. That's just incredible." And I was like, a lot of people kind of thought that was probably corny, but that was, it was a
I
decent
thought
play
it was
on
pretty
words.
neat.
Yeah.
Very decent play on words. So
Yeah.
I'll pick that one because a lot of people may not. My favorite one that I've ever said, there's a certain person that I'm not extremely fond of, and I said it to him backstage a couple of times. And then I ended up using it later on in a lot of my promo work. I would say, I don't have to think that I'm better than everybody to know that I'm better than you.
Oh, there you
I
go.
like that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, you was just talking about Drew Game a few minutes ago, and I look over at the screen to see what match is on, and it's you versus Drew Game.
Yeah.
That's the match that was on.
Yeah, that's the match that's on now, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's going on in the background.
That's funny.
So.
Well, that wraps up our 10 questions. Do you have any shows that you're going to be at here in the next couple of weeks or months?
I'm looking to get in with a lot more people than I am right now. I've kind of been on a bit of a wrestling break and kind of warming back into it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's AIWF YBW. I was up there a few weeks ago. They're a good show. Drew Game, he's up there. There's a lot of really hungry young guys up there. Most of the guys up there are really young, but they all very, very hungry guys. SCW Fridays, I'd definitely want to plug them. That's a nice little show, and I might be there soon. There's a have you guys heard of RCW?
Yes.
See, I've heard they're doing some really cool things too. So that would be one that I may end up at. And of course, NEW, they're making a lot of progress for a new promotion. So
yeah,
I would
we're
definitely,
real close with the people at NEW.
Yeah, they're doing really well. Like their show, they're going for like a year, and they're doing really, really well.
Yeah, and
definitely good stuff there.
Yeah, and I think they're even talking about moving up to 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, so 2 shows a month.
Right. So
see, the increase in pays that's definitely a good sign. Like for real.
Well, we would like to see you up there too. So
absolutely.
I mean, maybe we'll throw your name over there.
Yeah, we frequent that show more than we do any others because we're really good friends with just about everybody in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I'm related to half the people up there, so.
That is kind of. I know a lot of the guys from that locker room. I could carry over a lot of old grudges up there. There's one guy I won a heavyweight title from that wrestles up there, and we may still have some things that we may want to get settled. There's a lot of there's some talent at NEW, and I've never been there. And I'm one of those guys that kind of likes to. I like to find a new challenge, show up there, and kind of test the waters and test my mettle.
Oh yeah.
Oh, get in touch with them. I mean, definitely, we'd love to see you up there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Robbie, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Definitely.
We'll have people look up your stuff so they can see where you're going. We hope we get to see you at NEW and some other places that you mentioned. And once again, thanks so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Oh, definitely. I hope to see you guys soon too.
All right. Have a nice day, sir.
You too.
Thank you.
That was Robbie Vio. That was pretty good. He's very knowledgeable about some old school stuff. So
yeah, and he's a great wrestler. You can see. So
yeah.
I mean, we definitely want to bump into him at some point and meet him personally. But hopefully that gave you an insight to him. You know, I mean, so pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right, this has been Interview Wednesday.
That's right. So you can check out our Promotion Builder and Gimmick Builder every Monday and Tuesday, and our Pro segment every Friday. So until next Wednesday, this is the Interview Wednesday.
That was not redundant at all.
I don't speak in circles, but I talk in squares. Something like that.
See you later.
Yeah, you don't have to